This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium 2016 in Vancouver. With me is Ron Little of Orezone Gold Corporation, and it's a publicly traded company, and the symbol is ORE on the TSX venture. Welcome to SNNLive.
Thanks for having me, Shelley.
It's good to have you. Let's get an overview on Orezone for our audience, and we'll start there.
Yeah, Orezone's a gold developer. We've been in Burkina Faso, West Africa for over 20 years. We were bought out in '08 building what is now the biggest mine in the country. And since then, we've developed another project that's ready to be built by mid next year. We're actually just waiting for our mining permit that should come over the coming weeks.
Let's hear more about the resource.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. We're really the largest undeveloped project at the moment, which makes us very unique. We started off as a geochem anomaly as everybody else was, and we drilled quite extensively until the market dropped in 2013, but it's over 5 million ounces using a $1,400 gold price is what we used back then. And it's open. It's over 11 kilometers long. We've only drilled it to 120 meters deep, and of course we think we could double the size if we were to drill more. But right now we don't need to drill. We'll build a mine and we'll use our cash flow to continue to drill it. But it's a world-class size deposit.
What's the grade?
It's about a gram. So it's going to be a large open pit. Phase one, we're just mining really for about 10 years, the top 50 meters. It's soft, free digging, very cheap mining, very cheap processing. And then underneath is a large sulfide ore body that we've drilled and studied. And most of our investors would say you're getting that for free because it's not really in any valuation at the moment.
You mentioned a geochem anomaly. I'm not sure all of our investors know exactly what that is. I'm not sure I do either. But let's get an explanation for our audience.
Yeah, it's simply a soil anomaly. When most African projects, the rock is rotten, the soil is soft, you take a dirt sample physically, and you'll find gold in it. So if you find enough concentration, you'll drill a hole in it or put a trench in it. And this is how most of these deposits have been found in the last 5 years. And if you look at Burkina Faso, there's been 9 mines built in 10 years, and I don't think there's any other place that's happened in the world to that extent of growth.
What's the political, socio-economic nature of the region?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be quite a socialist regime, as most of the old French colonies were. It's had 25 years plus of a democratic rule. There's a new president, came out of the old party. It's been, when you get that kind of a mining growth, they're very pro-capitalist now, and it's a very poor country. It's one of the 10 poorest in the world, so they need our investment to grow the country. So it's a bit like how Canada started 100 years ago, really. It's mining, it's the natural resources that are putting the country on the map.
What brought you there originally? Because, here you are, Canadian. You're, obviously you could have been in the business here, but something drew you there. What was that?
I spent years in South America before going there, and we were looking for an oxide gold deposit, and it was a colleague from school that mentioned Burkina has got great geology and it's unexplored. And basically went over there, looked at some targets. Within 6 months, we'd done a deal and drilled a hole that was 60 meters at 3 grams per ton. And so 20 years ago, I thought this is going to be easy. But, 20 years later, I'm trying to make it a success story. So,
who's your offtake agreements with when you're there?
Well, we're still trying to stand alone, so we would send our gold probably to Switzerland, which is where the big mine is still shipping theirs. I think only one mine ships to South Africa, but the majority goes to Europe. And keep in mind, in Burkina, their currency is pegged to the euro, so there's just a fantastic Forex trade on any operating company there. If you compare investors looking at Canada, because our dollar is so cheap, you get the same benefit for producers in places like Burkina Faso.
So if you and I were talking and I said to you, give me your one goal, that one milestone that you'd like to see achieved in the company from this point to the end of 2017, what would that be?
Well, short term, it's the mining permit in the coming weeks. I think that's the real catalyst to then get the debt facility for the project. The project will bear about $150 million in debt, and I think with those two in hand during the fall, we can hopefully double our price of equity, and that way we can accretively finance the rest of the project with equity.
What's your background?
Engineering, geology, 10 years of operating gold mines in Canada and South America before I went to Africa for 20 years.
So give me a little bit of the rest of the management team, if you would.
Yeah, great question. Pascal Marquis is a super geologist that's been working with us now 15 years. He gets all the credit for discovering the ore bodies and developing them. Tim Miller is a COO that came out of Gold Corp and Glamis, just one of the top 10 gold mine builders. So he's on board and a big investor in the company in the last year. And we're out to basically put the band back together that built the biggest mine in the country over the coming 6 months.
And I'm sure the country's glad to have you back.
I hope so, yeah.
Let's get your website out there for more information, if you would.
It's www.orezone.com, and the symbol's ORE on Vancouver.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Little, Orezone Gold Corporation, ORE on the TSX-V. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium 2016 here in Vancouver. Ron, I know you have a long flight back to Africa. Enjoy it. Good to see you.
Thanks very much.